Hello, everyone. It's Phil Lee returning with another episode of Civil War Chat. Today is Sunday, May 28, 2023. Click on the subscribe button here in the lower right to subscribe to future episodes. And also in the far upper right, click on the notification bell to be notified when those episodes are released. Today's topic is we cannot compromise our way to unity. Let me repeat that. We cannot compromise our way to unity. America cannot compromise its way to unity because we have a national identity crisis. Political conservatives believe that our history forged a good nation, whereas the cultural elite, at least today's cultural elite, believe that it formed a bad one. The former respect tradition, whereas the latter, the cultural elite, want to replace it with new beliefs. So one such belief is that the nation was founded in 1619 when the first slave came over here, as opposed to 1776 when the Declaration of Independence was signed. Anyway, let me continue. Even when they know that their new beliefs are false, the cultural elite promote them anyway in a futile attempt to change reality by lying. Moreover, everyone knows they are lying. Everyone knows, for example, that men cannot become women and women cannot become men. Rachel Levine knows it, but the cultural elite gives him a platform to spread a false narrative. The latest Supreme Court Justice, Ketanji Jackson, knows it, but pretends to be unable to provide a definition for the word woman. Not only does everyone know it, but these people know it, they're lying themselves. They know they are lying. Similarly, everyone knows that criminals are responsible for crime. We all know that crime cannot be excused because the criminal feels socially disadvantaged. Yet New York's mayor announced a plan to place kiosks in stores suffering from abundant shoplifting that can connect the thief with a bureau of social workers. The mayor's plan will also train store employees to, quote, de-escalate a shoplifter confrontation. Yes, Mayor Adams knows he is lying. He knows he is lying to himself. He also knows that the best way to cut crime is to convict criminals, but that is a reality that he wishes to deny. When the government tells us that equity is a remedy for uneven wealth, we know they are lying. We realize that they are merely pretending to believe that a meritocracy fails to provide a better economic performance. It is a better economic engine than is diversity, equity, and inclusion, all that kind of stuff. When they deny it, they are lying to themselves and they know it. They realize that incentive provides results, whereas collective equality provides mediocrity. Everyone knows that America's exit from Afghanistan was a debacle. We saw video footage of refugees hanging from the landing gears of airplanes taking off from Kabul's airport. Yet Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman Mark Milley continue to describe the exit as a success. They know they are lying. They know they are denying reality. Everybody knows that a formidable military force cannot be forged out of diversity, equity, and inclusion. By denying equality of opportunity for the individual, DEI fails to provide a military forged in meritocracy. Everybody knows that boot camp builds toughness, whereas drag queen competitions promote, at best, self-centeredness and self-indulgence. Everyone knows that a protected 15 years of near zero interest rate ultimately causes inflation. When the regulators and politicians deny it, they know they are lying. Moreover, we know they are lying. Despite denials to the contrary, everybody knows that financial regulators and politicians will continue taxpayer bailouts for banks that are too big to fail. We know, and they know it too. Everybody knows, or should know, that the mob destruction of Confederate statuary about 8 years ago was an early sign of the madness that presently dominates the cultural elite. They know it was all a matter of phony virtue signaling at that time. Now that we know such people will lie to themselves to gain political power at the expense of reality, there can be no compromise with them. The only way America can be unified is to resolve our identity crisis one side or the other, on one side or the other. We can either decide that America is fundamentally good, that our history has led us to a country that is fundamentally good, or that our history has led us to a country that is fundamentally bad. We're going to have to determine our identity along those two opposites. We cannot compromise with one another. They can't compromise with us. We can't compromise with them. We must resolve the identity crisis. Now, my latest novel, my latest book is a novel, Firepower, about the deployment of repeating rifles during the Civil War. It's repeating rifles were invented before the Civil War, but were not very widely distributed until the last 12 months or so of the war, and even then, not very widely distributed. What I discovered in researching the facts on this is that historians have really never developed a sound understanding of why all the delays happened. Personalities played a role, and I looked deeply into that. And what I've done with this novel is I've taken genuine historical figures, analyzed their conduct, and put them together in connecting the dots scenario to come up with an explanation of how this happened. And it involved espionage between the Confederate and Union side. There's a big secret in there as to how the Confederacy was able to bring influence on the ordnance chief for the Union to get him to disapprove of repeating rifles. So if you'd like to get it, it's available. Firepower is available at Amazon.com in both paperback and in Kindle. And if you'd like an autographed copy, just email me, Phil, PHIL_Lee, LEIGH @me.com. And I'll sell it to you for $17 and cover the postage if you're here in the United States. At Amazon, you can get the book for $13, and I think the Kindle version is $4. But an autographed version, $17 from me. Email me, Phil, PHIL_Lee, LEIGH @me.com. Okay, I want to thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.